Alright, you've probably heard this statement a million times already. Garden Warfare 2 has many problems. It's not up to par to the first game, and the problems mainly revolve around its balancing. It's what brings the game down, and there are many suggestions and discussions on how to balance the characters and what PopCap should do. However, balancing is 99% of what those submissions are. I haven't seen any other suggestions, and that made me think of some improvements to Garden Warfare 2 that aren't just balancing, or some class-changing suggestion. I, alongside Front Flipping Man, thought of a lot, with a little help from a Reddit user and Vampire Flower. So, I organized them into different categories: user interface, gameplay, quality of life, controversial and big, and front flip suggestions. Without further ado, here are unconventional ways to improve Garden Warfare 2. The character menu navigation is not that good. Using the mouse and keyboard is atrocious. At times, the mouse automatically scrolls when hovering, which is a small hassle. And the mouse may select the wrong thing, but that might be a bug. To fix this, you would just optimize the mouse and keyboard and make a bigger menu. Here, I made a proof of concept, so excuse the crude drawing. In my menu, selecting things make the unselected smaller and fade out. If an item has bling variations, there would be a small submenu that pops up. And I also added more organization. You can sort by A to Z, Z to A, newest, and oldest. You can also filter items by all, launch, holiday events, DLC, and mystery portal. Just to make life easier, I added the ability to remove specified customization categories on specified variants. You can save presets and apply to other variants of the same character. If you don't have a variant, then it will show a silhouette and stickers earned for that variant. Also, a very much needed feature that I added is to mark all as red to remove all those annoying new notifications. This makes customization a much more efficient process. Exiting the customization booth without selecting a character makes you become the last character you selected as. This might be a bug, or it could be an intended thing, but is just very weird and it seems to be inconsistent, as sometimes I am the last character I was playing as, or sometimes I am a character that I just hovered over. Equipped quests should be organized alphabetically. It makes finding currently equipped quests easier. Garden Warfare 1's HUD is easy to read as opposed to Garden Warfare 2's HUD. Garden Warfare 1 fonts are bigger, while Garden Warfare 2 fonts are smaller, making it harder to read. Especially the electric damage font, as it blends in with the electric effect. To fix this, PopCap can just make the fonts bigger and the electric font contrast better with the electric effect, preferably reverting it back to dark blue. It's hard to notice who you're healing in the heat of battle. An arrow can be added on top of the teammate you're healing, making it easier to find them. In PvE, a glowing outline to heal teammates' info in the HUD can be helpful too. I like to call this indicative design. There will be more indicative design ideas discussed in this video. An additional recommendation to indicative design is to have a visual representation of overheating weapons, like the All-Star. Either use the circle that displays the ammo and make it fill up, or have a bar similar to Chomper's Burrow, although it fills up unnecessary space since it will be there the whole time. Earning XP and coins displays messages in the HUD, but accumulating it a lot at once makes it hard to keep track of how much you actually earn. To keep things compact, stack the messages if they are earned for the same reason, like this, or this. Team Fortress 2 players will know this next one. Instead of having separate numbers when dealing damage, have them stack up. For example, instead of 99999, let it be 45, making it easier to know how much total damage you dealt. If the enemy is not damaged in a while, the stacking will reset. Right now, players can only adjust two volumes, Master and Music. It would be better to have extra sliders, and at least a sound effects slider so music can just be listened to. It would be even better to have separate sliders for different sound effects to help players distinguish sounds better. For example, different sliders for the Chomper Burrow or footsteps. There are a lot of suggestions for gameplay, so I separated them into subcategories: match manipulation, character related, and reviving, respawning, and healing. This first one isn't mine, but from a Reddit user, Jimmy Cup. It's to fix team balancing, and I added some of my own ideas. When there are more people on one team than the other, players are told by the opposing team leaders to switch. Rewards are given based on the player's progression. If the player has unlocked everything, they earn more score, so they can get higher on the leaderboard. Swapping can be done multiple times if there is an imbalance, but rewards are only given when swapped the first time to avoid abuse of this feature. The next one also concerns team balancing. Players should be distributed on teams relative to the rank. Yeah, rank doesn't equal skill, but it's an estimation of their experience. Also, whenever high rankers are stacked on one team, they usually dominate. So, I thought of a system to evenly distribute players. It adds up all the ranks of players on the teams and calculates an overall rank for each team. If one team's overall rank is higher than the other, the system makes adjustments. This can be done while the map is loading or before match starts. This is similar to Team Fortress 2's auto-balance system. If a non-timed mode takes too long, like Team Vanquish, start a short timer to automatically end the match. Score will be counted as it is, and will decide the winner. Teams can be tied, and tied games will give out rewards as if the team lost. In solo or private play, this feature and timers can be removed if players want to goof around. In Gnome Bomb's Overtime, add a timer to automatically end the match. It'll have the same additions to the previous suggestion: the score count, ties, including the removal of timers in solo private play with crazy settings. Don't you hate it how you and a boaster got the same stats, but they got it instead? A simple fix would be to share boasts. So, if players have the same stats, then they have the same boast. You know how you can customize enemies and filters in solo private play? Implementing in ops would be fun too. You can customize special waves, bosses, and objectives. And just like multiplayer, it reduces the amount of XP and coins earned. Another little fun addition, add a crazy setting that reduces cooldowns by a lot, but not to the point where it's completely broken and will crash the game. Add indications for timed abilities like Hyper and Jackhammer. For Hyper, the pea shooter and the effect can flash and the sound will get weaker. For Jackhammer, it will increasingly sputter as time goes on. An indication can also be on the HUD. For example, the ability picture can have a timer similar to its cooldown, or a meter similar to Chomper's Burrow. The same things can be done to Citron's shields and other timed abilities. Kudos to Frontflip for contributing to this suggestion. If a zombie is ensnared by a spikeweed, have vines wrap around them. It'll be easier to tell if they've been trapped, because sometimes it takes me a while to figure out that a zombie is trapped because they just stand still. So an actual visual indication would definitely help. When a character is frozen, an ice-breaking sound effect should play when they are about to be unfrozen. After unfreezing, there is a period of time where they cannot be affected by ice shots again. So add ice to fall off the character model until they are able to be frozen again. When a character is on fire or intoxicated, the visual effect should dissipate over time until it disappears. This all helps indicate the state of characters with elements. Penetration characters should either do more damage to shields or ignore them and penetrate, causing direct damage. This is to make penetration characters more viable since the mechanic is almost never used. Environment collision boxes should be optimized. Countless times have I tried to shoot through trees and it gets blocked. PopCap should also optimize the plant hitboxes because some of the crit boxes are too big, especially chompers. Speaking of chomper, there should be separate chomp and eat buttons. The main trigger can be for chomping, while the secondary trigger can be for eating. The zoom feature on Yeti Chomper will be replaced with this. I'm not sure if this is just a bug on PC, but PopCap should add the ability to zoom out when downed. I've tested out with a controller and it works, and I don't know why it doesn't work with a mouse and keyboard. Instead of simply pressing a button to respawn, use a press and hold feature. It prevents accidental respawns and in case someone wanted to revive you but you didn't notice in time. The same press and hold feature can be used for changing characters. A very helpful ability would be to deny revives in case if someone tries to revive you in a bad situation. So, reviving should take 1 or 2 seconds to press and hold, denying revives should take half a second to a second to press and hold, and the auto respawn timer should be displayed above your body to inform teammates. A denied revive icon will be displayed above you if you deny a revive, and the progress of respawning will be above your body. The teammate who has the furthest progression in reviving you have their name and progression displayed above you. Auto-warping should warn you a lot sooner before warping you, so it doesn't catch you off guard. To also help with this, display a timer until the warp. The healing sound should play when self-healing, but a bit quiet so you know that you're healing but can also focus on other things. Heal flowers should shine a second or more before spewing out sun, and they should frown more and slow down their little dance before running out or dying. Heal stations should sputter before running out as well. Switching targets with beam abilities should not interrupt the reload. There should also be some indications when a target is going out of range of your beam, so it should progressively flash more and make the sound get weaker the farther away you are from your target. In between waves and ops, the break should be increased to about 1 minute to give players time to do whatever, such as setting reinforcements or use the washroom. Players can also opt to ready up, and enough players do so, the break is skipped. The lobby time between matches should also be increased to 1 minute. Again, if enough players ready up, then the break is skipped. If there are a small amount of players at the beginning of a match, it will wait for players. After some time, the players should be able to ready up to skip the timer. An AFK kick timer should be displayed after being idle for some time, so it can inform players how much time they have until the kick. Add an ability to change quests, view community challenge progress, and promote characters in the lobby. Quests should be buyable with stars or coins to give them more use. Quests that grant coins should be paid with stars, and vice versa. Your contributions to the community challenge should be shown in the pause menu. Promoting multiple characters can be a hassle, so add an ability to mass promote a character which will promote all valid variants to make the process more efficient. In the character select menu when you first join a match, have objective info of the mode so players can know the progress of the match. There can also be a small spectator mode, like an overview of an objective or an important part of the map. Kudos to Vampire Flower for providing me with this overview shot. Show what characters your team is playing as, the current mode, and current map in the scoreboard. The character icon is shown beside the teammate. You can check your team composition this way without respawning. The match info reminds players what mode and map they're in. It also aids new players in differentiating the objective info, modes, and maps. Separate sounds and skull icons should be used for AI and player vanquishes. For sound, it can have separate pitches or completely different dings. The skull icons for AI can be weed or zombie skulls. Add an ability to customize crosshairs and choose from a selection of them. You can set a global crosshair for all characters or have different crosshairs for different characters. Just a nifty little idea by my friend from Vampire Flower. Add other ways to earn character stickers that are not so heavily based off RNG. It can potentially be new special quests to earn a sticker to the closest variant you got, or rewards from community challenges that also grant stickers. The ability to warp home is nice, but there can be even more points of interest to warp to. In the Warp tab, have a sub-menu pop up to display points of interest. You can warp to Home, to Friends, Flag of Power, quest characters from the single-player campaign, delivery missions, target practices, Rux, the Gnome Cave, and the Mystery Portal. Speaking of the Mystery Portal, you should be able to change regions there instead of heading back to base just to change it. For boss hunts, add an ability to select desired difficulty so you don't have to race for the difficulty you want with randoms. Just for fun, fit more people in the backyard battleground so you can goof off with even more friends. Add an ability to cancel the gestures. It can help if enemies start attacking you when you least expected it. But to avoid abusing this feature with taunt related quests, you have to fully complete the taunt in order to count it. And one of the most requested additions, add more gesture slots. Just make it so that in any game mode besides Ops, you can use up to 4 gestures. The following suggestions may not be entirely agreed upon and need further discussion, or they may take a while to implement. In their present predicaments, toxic variants are just weaker versions of fire variants. To make them stronger and more distinct from fire variants, toxic shots should leave liquid pools that would intoxicate enemies upon contact. The duration and size of the liquid pool will depend on ammo type and firing speed of each variant. This may cause toxic characters to be spammy, however. Induce character limits to decrease spamming of characters. Not all characters are as viable as others, so have different limits. For example, sunflowers can be limited to 3, and kernel coins are limited to 2. This can also be a removable feature in crazy settings. To reduce ability spam, cooldowns should carry over to respawns. So, all abilities cooldowns do not reset upon respawn, just like the gravity grenade. This can also be a removable feature in crazy settings. Another attempt to reduce spam is to change the XP system. Currently, it encourages lots of vanquishes and being selfish. So, reworking the system to encourage vanquish streaks, working with your team, and doing the objective will definitely help the game. Have separate balancing changes between PvP and PvE, as well as between PC and console. Why should they do this? Well, for example, Toxic Brains is decent in PvP, but is a monster in PvE. Surviving long enough to build up Toxic Overload is easier with dumb AI than aware humans. As well, Z7 Imp is very powerful on PC, but not so much on console. The shots are easier to land and spam on PC, but not on console. PopCap should also widen the matchmaking options and add a feature to select maps to play. Maybe even implement a server browser, but that may negatively affect the PC community. Most players would want to choose the most populated match, and there are not many players at PC to fill up more than 3 servers. This last category is not thought of by me, but by my good friend from Flipping Man. They're basically all balancing changes. Melee classes should regenerate faster than normal to give them an edge in battles, but not to the same extent as Chompling. Chomper's goop should no longer slow opponents, but should provide a scent that speed boosts the Chomper player if they are close enough to smell it. The super sticky goop, on the other hand, can provide the same speed boost, do damage over time, and last longer, but be on a longer cooldown. Or it can provide a faster speed boost for the Chomper. Finally, the very last suggestion for this sizable list. Multi-shot abilities, like the multi-rocket, should have their blast radius or radius damage increased. Direct damage will be decreased to compensate for their buffs to radius. This is to make them more prominent than their single-shot counterparts. And so, that concludes our extensive list. What are your thoughts on these suggestions? And do you have any suggestions of your own? I'd like to read all about it in the comments. Special thanks to my friends from Flipping Man and Steel Life for helping me review the script, and for Vampire Flower for lending me some assets. Take care, everyone.